Welcome back to AM Northwest. She's the future Queen of England. Yet how much do we really know about the Princess of Wales? Here to share her story, we welcome the author of Kate, The Courage, Grace, and Power of the Woman Who Will Be Queen. We welcome back best-selling royal biographer Christopher Andersen. How you doing?
Great, how are you?
Good. So did you get any help from the royals when you put this book together?
I'm not going to say. Look, for 52 years now, I've been covering the royals and building up sources inside and outside of the palace. When I covered, the palace for Time Magazine and then People Magazine for many, many years. But you can't really. Let's just say that it was interesting that just yesterday, the Kensington Palace said that Kate wanted a copy of the book. She was curious about what was in it, so we messengered a copy over to Kensington Palace just yesterday.
Okay, can't wait to hear how she feels about it. Let's start out, with her childhood and how she'd always had a crush on William. I mean, ever since she was a kid, she had a poster above her bed since she was just a little one. Not this little, but, a little one.
Sure. So, yeah, exactly. Oh, no, and she admits it, and let's face it, it wasn't an accident that she went to St. Andrews University when William was a student there, because Kate's mother, Carol Middleton, wanted her daughter in close proximity to William, and it worked out really well.
Well, it sounded like Kate wanted to be near William because she enlisted in the elite boarding school. She kept track of his schedule every day by going to the website, making sure she knew where he was. She took his classes. So, I mean, really, she was destined to meet him. Although all her schoolmates were just gaga over him, she was more, I don't know, subdued in her approach.
Right, more reticent. People thought, in the beginning, he thought she was quite shy. Everybody did. I talked to a guy named Jules Knight, who was a friend of theirs, mutual friend, and he said, well, we all thought she was just kind of like this very, very retiring type. And then she did this famous fashion show, it's a charity fashion show, student show, and she's in a negligee. There you go. Not a negligee, it's actually a dress, but it's a transparent dress. It might be a negligee. And of course, everybody just stood up, and William went crazy, jumped out on top of his seat and began applauding. And from that moment on, they became a couple, and they were living together at St. Andrews University for years, pretty much undisturbed, because the press had an agreement with the palace not to bother William or Harry during their school years, because after their mother's, Diana's tragic death, everyone's feeling was they should be left alone. But what I think is amazing is that she's not somebody who was born. Kate is not the person who was born into this life. She's descended from coal miners in the north of England. Her mother was in public housing and was a flight attendant, and yet she had all the grace and stamina and smarts to make it work.
Christopher, Christopher, I love you. But I'm going to kind of disagree with you on this one. I get her mother's side, but her father did come from aristocracy. He had money. He had all of that. It's not a big deal, but she was living in an elite boarding school and doing really well, and she studied hard and all of that, right?
Well, no. You see, a lot of people are connected to aristocracy vaguely, like Michael Middleton was, but he certainly was not he was working as a ground guy for British Airways to make ends meet. So no, these were middle-class people, and the reason that they flourished was because Carol Middleton started a party planning company, a children's party pieces catalog company that
when Kate was about 5,
and made millions. So she really is the engine that drove this. So this is a woman's story more than anything else. So whatever. But look, the fact of the matter is that Kate is one of a kind.
Right.
A lot of other people with a lot of pedigree could not have flourished the way she did. And then, of course, to be confronted with this cancer situation.
Yeah, let's talk. That's how you start out the book. You start with her cancer diagnosis and her announcement, and how she was so incredible when she made the announcement. And even Charles thought this was beautiful, what she had done. And it takes a lot of courage to do what she did. And then he had his diagnosis, and the two of them were really close.
Very close. And by the way, you see she wore a striped sweater. That was to disguise the fact that she lost 15 pounds during chemotherapy. And during her chemotherapy, the internet went crazy, because she vanished for 2 months. She was getting it secretly, kind of a cloak and dagger situation in London, where she was sneaking into the hospital. So when she suddenly appeared, everyone was taken aback. The internet had gone wild, saying they thought she might have died, that their marriage might have broken up. None of it true, of course. And so when she suddenly appeared on that park bench in that striped sweater and said, "I have cancer," everyone was blown away, as you recall. And she's been really good about it. I mean, she's been in remission now for 15 months, which is great. But she still has periods. She said there are good days and bad days as a result of because the chemo is so rough. And yes, their bond between the king and who is suffering from the same, he's in the same boat pretty much.
Right. It's incredible.
It's really, really strong.
What I thought was interesting too is you talk about Kate being kind of the peacemaker between William and Harry, or trying to make peace, trying to solve the problems, and also being really the support for William, who is kind of more fragile than I had ever thought of. I mean, he grew up in a dysfunctional family with, you know, both his parents divorced and lots of drama.
Right. Well, look at the difference between her background and his background. She has a solid base. Her parents have been together forever. They loved her. There was no problem in that department. But these two kids were caught, Harry and William, caught in the crossfire of their parents' horrible, bitter marriage. They were violent. Charles and Diana had huge, violent rows. And it was all played out in the papers and ended, of course, with her tragic death, being hounded to death, William believes, by the press. But Kate, has had, he's very protective of her. He has always been protective of her because he's worried, and he has always worried that she might meet the same fate that his mother did.
Right.
Early on, she didn't have protection, if you may recall, royal protection. So the press was all over her, but she handled it really well. But no one gives her the credit really for being his emotional support, because he has always suffered. Right, he suffered from PTSD. He has said that he has never really come to grips to this day with his parents' horrible marriage and his mother's tragic death.
Yes.
Walking behind that coffin, you may recall, they called it a tunnel of grief. Yeah, and then he goes to work as an air ambulance pilot, where he sees death every day, horrible situations. And he said after a while, you get it has such an effect on you that you feel that death is right around the corner every day. And again, she's the person who bucks him up and keeps him going.
She is the strength. She also has an incredible sense of fashion. Oh my God. And she's affectionate too, which is something Diana was as well. She's very affectionate, shows her love as much as she can, as she's allowed to, maybe pushing the boundaries a bit.
Well, somebody said too, one of her friends told me that, there's a certain serenity and calm about her, but the most important thing is that she's a great listener. And if you see her work the rope line with people that come in crowd and they give her flowers, everything else, she connects with those people as much as you can. Yeah, absolutely. And again, that's something that other royals do not have that touch.
Absolutely.
And she did try to bring Harry and William back together, like you said. Very, very important that, she gave the college try, but in the end, when Harry finally said, "Well, I don't know how much longer my father has to live," she thought, while she is battling cancer as well, how thoughtless is that?
Yeah.
Nobody hear that kind of thing. And at that point, she said she was done with it. So I don't think we'll ever see, certainly not in the foreseeable future, are we going to see Harry and William getting back together again.
She has a great sense of fashion and uses her intellect also when it comes to where she is and the event she's attending. This one, she dressed in this incredible green, and it was for an environmental group.
Right, and I love that picture because that dress she rented off the internet for $100.
Yeah, perfect.
And everybody away, and because she's all about sustainability, and she walks the walk, and by the way, she looks spectacular every time she goes anywhere, but she rewears outfits all the time. I point that out in the book, and wants to make a point of it that people shouldn't be so uptight about that sort of thing, even if they're going to a state banquet. She might wear the same with the tweaking it in some small way, but and her influence, her soft power, as we like to say these days, with world leaders is amazing. I mean, these people like the president of China's Xi and Macron. I have a picture of him winking at her at a banquet, a state banquet for him. These guys just fall over themselves to get near her. Obama, Trump, name it. She is the star in that royal.
Absolutely fantastic. We want to tell everyone the name of the book is titled Kate, The Courage, Grace, and Power of the Woman Who Will Be Queen. Christopher Andersen, always great to talk with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I enjoyed it. It's great.
It was fun. We'll be right back with more AM Northwest. Don't go away.